Banner Knowledge Bowling Steve here coming at you, and I'm going to do something new. I'm going to call it My Take, and for the very first time, I competed on a string pin certified center for the PBA. This was in Front Royal, Virginia. It was a PBA 50 event. Ended up in, I think, tied for 24th, so got a check, so that was good. But I'm going to give you my take on the string pins because it's the first time I competed on it. So this is going to be kind of raw. I got nothing written down. I just kind of wanted to react to what I saw, because I know there's a lot of opinions in the bowling world with string pins, free fall pins, and the direction that we're going. So I wanted to give you kind of my take on it, and what, you know, and certainly ask questions, put them down in the comments below, and we can explore this some more. You know, I was away this week and I was unable to get to the practice round. So I actually drove there on Saturday, the day of qualifying, and I think it was 12 minutes. There was 3 on the lane. I think we had 12 minutes of practice on the pattern on our starting lanes, and then I started bowling. So first time I was on string pins. Let me say this. String pins, there are certified string pins and there are non-certified string pins. Bowling on non-certified string pins, I don't recommend, and it's not very fun. I think the difference between certified and non-certified is the length of the string. So certified string pins are a shorter string and they bounce differently. On the longer strings, the strings can actually get tangled, and those strings can knock pins down that other pins don't actually touch. So I am not a fan and probably wouldn't bowl any kind of tournament or any kind of league on a non-certified string event. This particular house, this particular tournament at this house, we bowled on a 43-foot Mark Roth pattern. So this is a 2025 Mark Roth pattern. It's 3.5 to 1. It was 33 mLs. It's 43 feet. This was on an older Cubica kind of surface. I think they said that was like 15, 20 years old. So there was a lot of friction in the lane, but there was a lot of volume on the lane. It made it very, very tricky. I think it made it harder to carry simply because of that. I think on a house shot where you got a lot of miss to the right and the ball's still going to come back, I think the carry would have been better. But if you go out and look at those scores were low. Minus cashed. I think Minus actually made the finals. I probably missed the finals by 20-ish pins. Top 16 make the next day. So I was close. Maybe a little jet lagged. So, I'll have an excuse there. The pin carry was tough in this center. I feel like you needed a ball that could shape a lot on the back part of the lane to get the ball to go through the pins correctly. But because there was a lot of volume, people use balls with some surface, and those balls got forward. And when those balls got forward, you couldn't carry. So, but when you went to balls that were a little cleaner, you had to throw it really, really good, because if you got it too far to the right, never wanted to hook back. And if you pinched it in a little bit, when it got off the pattern, it certainly wanted to go left. So it made it difficult to hit the pocket. So spare shooting was a premium for this particular pattern. I feel like the sound in a string pin center is different. There's certainly not rakes coming down, pushing the pins out of the way, those kinds of things. But, for the most part, if you threw the ball well, so I'm going to say the correct speed, the correct rev rate, the correct targeting, you got rewarded for it. If you would miss on one of those areas, say maybe threw it a little faster, or you hit it a little harder, or you missed your target a little bit, really hard to carry. The off hits certainly didn't carry. A lot of 4 pins, a lot of 7 pins. I noticed that the pins don't bounce off the kick plates a lot. So some of those hits that you would carry where you trip a 4, or you might get a messenger on the 10, didn't really happen. I had one messenger, and believe it or not, I actually had one re-rack. It was like game 6 or 7. The 2 pin was off, and I re-racked it and just hit the button on the score monitor, and it was really not a big deal. Things that are good about it: there are no deck jams, there are no pins in the channel. The machines really didn't break down, so we bowled kind of quickly because of that. The carry was tough though, because you needed to hit the pocket correctly, and you needed to execute your shot correctly. So it really put a premium on great shot making. And out on tour, you know, we really want those who make the best shots to advance and move on. So I personally liked that fact, but your carry is going to be different. And if you're just getting the ball to the pocket, that's not enough to knock all 10 pins down. You got to get the procession, that physics terms that we talk about, correct. You had to get the ball going through the pins correctly, and you had to repeat shots, your rev rate, your speed, and your targeting to knock all 10 down. So the question was, would I do it again? I certainly would. I feel like that because of the cost of the string pins, much less for the proprietors to buy, much less in maintenance to keep them going. I think this is where the sport is going. But everything else is the same. You got to stand on the right board, you got to hit the right target, and when you have the spares, you got to knock them down. You know, I had like a 2-4-10 I made, 3 10s, double woods, like the 2 8s. All of that kind of was the same. You know, I got a couple of off-hit strikes, a couple of weird carries, but I get that in my league where I get some weird carries where I miss a little right, hits pocket really light, and the pins all scatter sometimes. You know, I got a little bit of that, but on the pocket hits, you know, it's just not enough to hit the pocket. You have to hit the pocket. It's got to go through the pins correctly, exit the deck around 20, you're going to strike. If you're hitting the pocket and the ball is rolling too soon and it's moving to the right and it exits out through the 9 pin, so it hits and goes right, you're probably going to leave a weak 10, and you're probably not going to send a messenger. So just kind of my quick takes on string pins. Certainly put your questions, comments below. We'll chat more about it. Thanks a lot.